Thank you so much for joining me today, Lucy Narinder, to meet Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe's husband. Now, she was arrested in March 2016 on her way to the airport with her one-year-old daughter to fly back to the UK and her husband. He's on day 12 today of his second hunger strike in an effort to get his wife back. It is just distressing and unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, being separated from your kid for 5.5 years. It's just absolutely unthinkable, isn't it?
He's been separated from his wife for that period of time as well, and that's just appalling.
Yes, isn't it? Shall we go and meet him then? Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Richard. Hello.
Richard, thank you very much for meeting with us and welcoming us to your mini camp outside the Foreign Office, where you are on day 12 of a hunger strike.
Thank you.
The three of us, Lucy, Serpell, Narinder Kapur and myself, we are Professors of Psychology at University College London, or UCL for short. We are also clinical psychologists trained by the National Health Service, the NHS. We thought we'll have a conversation with you because obviously lots and lots of the issues you are struggling with every single day for the last 2,142 days, if I'm correct, are the sort of things as psychologists we have many ideas and many theories about. Yeah?
Thank you.
So again, as psychologists, we sometimes ask questions about really difficult and upsetting things. And so we wanted to just say that if there were any things that we touch on that you don't want to talk about, or if you want to stop at any time, take a break, then please let us know about that.
And just from our own perspective, I actually went on hunger strike myself in 2012 because of injustice and suffering in the NHS, and I was on hunger strike just across the road in Parliament Square outside the Department of Health. So I know to some extent what you've been going through, and I do admire what you've done, and I respect the decisions you've made. So you have my sympathy and support.
Now, I should explain, you may have wondered, I did quickly check with you because you obviously have your beautiful wife Nazanin's pictures with you at all times, and she is very prominently displayed on the posters of your plea. I think it's more plea, it's a begging of the Iranian government and the British government, the Foreign Office, to help bring your wife home and free Nazanin. We know as psychologists that she is hugely important for you and your daughter and everybody else in your family. So we thought we actually make her part of the conversation.
A place for her.
Is that okay? I suspect.
No, I
it
think
might be quite upsetting, or is it quite comforting to have her next to you?
That's right. She should be here.
Yeah.
And Richard, I just wanted to ask, because my interest is in the impact of fasting on the brain and people's thoughts and emotions, how you're managing on day 12. How are you feeling?
It's a feeling fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think physically feeling colder.
Yeah.
I think mentally slightly slower.
Yes.
Not vastly slower. So like I remember once doing a hunger strike before, I would forget people's names.
Yes.
That hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And are you getting some sleep at night, Richard?
Yes. So the first night, not really, because it's a strange place. We're here on the street, and actually the police would call on us and try to move us on. But increasingly more. Probably with the real cold, and we had a few days early in the week where it was very cold. We'd wake up in the middle of the night, just a bit too cold, and scrabbling around for extra blankets.
Now, Richard, I explained before about the significance of having Nazanin with us and actually having her sit in a chair. Obviously, there's one other hugely important person who's not here, and that's Gabriella. Gabriella is 6, or is she recently turned
7 now.
One thing that I think is really striking, which perhaps people who suggest that you are an irresponsible father may not realize, that research really strongly suggests that parents, even if they're not physically present, So it's very obvious that Gabriella knows every single day how much her mommy and daddy love her. This time round, on your previous hunger strike, you were outside the Iranian Embassy.
That's right.
Yeah. This time round, you're outside the Foreign Office because you really want to direct your desperation and your plea
At the British government, yeah.
the British government. Yeah. Is it right? So you recently met with Liz Truss.
Mm-hmm.
What did she say? How did she respond to your free Nazanin plea?
Well, so she was sympathetic, said it was a high priority, but didn't, we obviously, camping on the street, there's a level of anger and frustration and saying, listen, what you're doing now isn't working, you need to change your ways. We don't believe that the current path is going to work. And she wasn't willing to change anything. Now, obviously she's new, she's inheriting a policy, it'll take time for her as a minister to work out what she really thinks. But yeah, I think we all came out pretty disappointed I said to her very bluntly, if you carry on this path, Nazanin will be back in prison. And if she's back in prison, it'll be another couple of years. That's partly why I'm here, is it felt like the government was being complacent of everything. There was a sort of a drift.
Yeah.
Nazanin was being threatened with prison, nothing was moving. And you're right, that a big part of my life now is bringing up Gabriella. It's maintaining that normal life that Nazanin wants to come back home, so that there's a home to come back to, not permanent campaign. But this was drifting on and could have drifted on forever. So yeah, I don't think any of us were impressed. Pretty deflated is probably a fair word. And so I didn't stop the hunger strike. But we'd carry on and push just to get the government to rethink. I don't expect sitting here will provoke a different answer from the government while we're here, because that's not the way governments respond to hunger strikes. But I want it to be long enough that they do realise that, and the wider public realises that the status quo is untenable.
So how long are you going to go on for?
It's a good question. And it's a bit of a family dispute.
Yes, I can imagine that your family are really worried about you.
So, yeah, probably increasingly worried.
Yeah.
My sense, I think we have to take it one day at a time in terms of physically how it is.
Yeah.
Last time I did one for 15 days. That was fine, tough, but fine in the end. It was, there was a time to recover. It didn't happen overnight. It took a couple of weeks, and I remember noticing afterwards I'd sort of withdrawn into myself, emotionally as well as physically, and that had to be unwound. And legacies I hadn't appreciated in the middle of it. I think this time the plan when we started was to go a bit longer. That's probably still the plan, and we'll see how feasible that is.
The mere thought of being separated at somebody else's whim, at somebody else's decision from my daughters for that long is, honestly, it's inconceivable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the bit I think that Nazanin most resents, is that her baby was taken away from her.
So what we have here is a letter which we plan to deliver to the Iranian ambassador in London. And the letter reads like this. It says, "Your Excellency, we have respect and admiration for the people and country of Iran. We are aware that Iran has been badly affected by the COVID pandemic. One of us has helped to set up a COVID rehabilitation center in India. In the spirit of compassion and kindness, we'll be happy to set up a similar COVID rehabilitation center in Iran in return for Iran to show compassion and kindness and allow Nazanin to return to the UK." So we would present this letter to the ambassador and see if that would make a difference.
Can only help. Yeah, thank you very much to all of you for all that you're doing.